Hello and welcome to the Your 60-Minute Lean Business webinar. I'm Jason Tisbury, author of the Your 60-Minute Lean Business book series and founder of My Lean Business Coach. Thanks for joining me today. It's Tuesday, 24th of February, 2015. It's been a pretty cool day here in Melbourne, Australia. I'm excited to be here joining you today, and we'll get started onto the presentation straight away. So today we'll be covering these concepts. Firstly, what is lean and the need for 5S. So we're covering these concepts, what is lean, the need for 5S, TPM, standardized work, Kaizen, Jidoka, and just in time. That's the agenda for today. So first of all, a little bit about me and how I got started in lean. Well, it all started back in the 90s when I was working in the clothing and fashion industry in Brisbane, Australia. My GM was looking for new ideas and ways to improve our position when he stumbled across a newspaper article about just in time. I read the report and realised that many of the ideas in the article we were already doing these things. From that realisation, I thought this new lean concept would be just a fad, as it was based largely on what I thought was common sense. Well, obviously I was wrong. As 20 years later, the lean movement is stronger than ever. I ran my own business for a while, and once again, without any training, found myself using the lean concepts. And it wasn't until I found myself working for an automotive supplier in 2005 that my formal training began with Toyota, and I found my calling. I represented that company twice at the Toyota Australia Supplier Kaizen Awards, winning bronze and silver. After leaving the automotive industry, I applied my knowledge to organisations in food manufacturing, construction, government, and more to further hone my skills and prove that lean can be of use to all business types. Over the years, the teams that I've worked with have realised many millions of dollars of savings through eliminating waste and bringing the focus back to the customer. I also managed to squeeze in the writing and publishing of 7 books on lean business, including a couple of bestsellers. Now, I'm not telling you this to brag at all, but to show you that I am qualified to talk about this topic. So here you can see what we call a lean house. We'll discuss every element of this house over the following slides, but first, let's discuss what lean is all about. So lean is about customer and employee focus. Without customers, you have no business, and without employees, you have no business. Provide the best customer service and deliver the best product whilst respecting your employees is a must. It's not about doing more with less. I hear that all the time. This can be an outcome and a result of applying lean, but should not be the driver for your lean journey. The third one here, lean is about producing to customer demand and not producing to capacity. By producing to capacity, you're building in waste. I'm sure you've all heard about the 7 wastes of manufacturing and of business. So overproduction is the biggest waste of all, because it leads to all other wastes. And it will lead to inventory, which is the enemy of lean, which is why it's the biggest waste of all. It's often said that lean is the elimination of wastes, and this is true, but this is really a means to an end, which is to provide the best value and service to your customers. You have to really focus on the customer. With an effective lean implementation, you can and should improve safety, reduce costs, increase profits, improve quality, and most importantly, improve customer satisfaction. Remember, without customers, you haven't got any business at all. You have to have satisfied customers that won't go elsewhere. So let's talk about one of the first foundations of 5S, of lean, and that is 5S. So what is 5S? It's a method of effective and orderly housekeeping practice. Now, it's a method because it's more than just cleaning. It's an organized program. Now, Taicho Ono is the founder of 5S with Toyota back in 1965. He said 5S is the window into your business. And this is so true. When you bring customers through your business, and you bring suppliers through your business, and you bring shareholders through your business, what they see is so important. If they see a disorganized rabble, parts laying on the floor, finished product stacking up to the ceiling, to the roof, what's their first impression going to be of your business? It's going to be, these guys don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're talking about, and are finding it hard to manage their business. But if you bring in your suppliers and customers and shareholders into a business that is laid out properly, has a good 5S system and everything in its place, the housekeeping is tidy, and they can see it's managed properly, they'll have a much bigger faith in your business. So a neat and clean environment also ensures it's a safe place to work, higher productivity, produces fewer errors, and increases customer satisfaction once again through consistent outcomes. And it's also the starting point for improvement to ensure company growth. One of the big things I see, one of the common reasons businesses are not successful in their lean journeys, is a lack of effective 5S and or not putting 5S first. They're not building with the foundation of lean. They would have seen back in the lean house that 5S is right down the bottom in the foundations, along with TPM, which we'll talk about next. This is because without these two in place, your pillars cannot stand tall. They'll fall over. You need 5S to be in place first and foremost. So I'll go through the 5S process now and the 5S's themselves. The first one is to sort. So we're identifying and removing or throwing away all the rubbish, old items, materials that aren't used anymore, tools that aren't used anymore. Get rid of everything out of the work area. I'm not saying you throw it all away, but you take it out of the work area and segregate it into what we call a red tag area. Some of these things can go back in, but not all of them should go back in. Now, the rule is one is best. If you've got one operator working in a cell, they don't need two hammers generally. They normally need one hammer. If there's a process involved, they need two hammers, then you provide them two, obviously, but you try and keep it to a one is best principle. In the office as well, you don't need 5 staplers, you need one set of stationery. One-page forms and reports and memos are very clear and very easy to put the message across without creating clutter and an overload of paper on the walls. You have daily things to do lists, so you're always under control and you're always planning what you're doing, and things that are needed are stored right at hand. But you don't want your staff walking over to the other side of the building to get a tool they use twice a day, 3 times a day. You look at what they're using and you put it in the right place. Things that you're using regularly, you put close. Things that they use less regularly, once a week, you might put in a central area. Things that aren't used at all, get rid of them. They're taking up space. They're causing injuries or causing hazard of injuries. They're taking up your money. Time is money that people are walking around in, and also the floor space is money as well. So some examples now of 5S in action, or sorting in action. The top one here is of a drawer of a person I used to work with. As you can see there's 2 boxes of staples in that drawer. There's 2 boxes of paper clips. There's 2 post-it note pads. There's a whole box of business cards. In their top drawer, which is their workstation, they should be able to find what they need very easily. If you're going into this drawer to find a pen, you can't really see a pen in there clearly because everything's covered with a lot of unneeded and unnecessary product in there. So get rid of it. The bottom one here, as you can see, we had a situation where we had a cupboard. It was full of coffee cups and a glass was there. Old stationery was in there. We threw everything out that wasn't needed. So on the right-hand side, you can see there that what is in there is very easy to identify, very easy to get hold of. So that brings us along now to the second S, which is set in order. Now these first 2 S's, and really the first 3 S's, are very easy to achieve, and most businesses can achieve these in a short amount of time, especially if they do it in focus areas. But the real challenge is getting the further 4th and 5th S's. So the second S of set in order is quite simply everything has a clear and designated place. Every place should have a responsible person, first in, first out arrangement, which is really important with inventory in particular. Whether your inventory is perishable, as in foodstuffs, or not, you should have a first in, first out arrangement. Recently, I was working with a company and they had some issues with first in, first out, and we had products brought to the quality office, and that were non-conforming goods, apparently. Through investigation, we found that they were 3 years old and were in fact 3 or 4 revisions old. So the supplier in this instance was not at fault. The fault was largely due to the business's own capabilities or incapability of controlling its stock through first in, first out. A good way to assess goods set in order is how quickly can you get things when you need them, and also how quickly can you put them away, which is a very good assessment method. So in a nutshell, a place for everything and everything in its place. And here we see an example of goods set in order in an office environment. So we have here items are labeled on the shelf, so we know what is in what area. So anyone can go up there and quickly and easily see what they're trying to find. But also, if something is out of stock, you can see what's out of stock. Without those labels, you wouldn't know what wasn't there. And that's a good assessment of 5S. How can you see what isn't there? And how can others, if you're not at your desk or at your workplace, how can others find what they need to find in your absence, which is important to do? Brings us to the third S, which is shining or sweeping. It's a very easy but often overlooked step. It's important to clean very well, more than you think is necessary to create a clean, fresh new start. And also, if you have machinery, machinery can get dirty from time to time, can get dirty through use. If you don't clean properly when you start this program, how will you know when the machinery has started a small leak or when the machinery has started to break down slightly? So the rules about shine are everyone is a cleaner. It's not up to one person to do this. It's every operator, every person in the business has responsibility under the shine step. Its individual cleaning responsibility is assigned to different people. It should make cleaning and inspection easier for ongoing. Clean even the places that most people do not notice. And regular sparkling clean campaigns. So do this on a regular basis, but a regular scheduled basis is important. So it brings us to the fourth S, standardize. Now, many businesses never achieve the fourth S. I see so many businesses stopping at the third S, not intentionally, but they just do. And they're in this never-ending 3S loop of sort, set in order, shine. They wait a few weeks, a few months, then they sort again, and then they find they've changed their business, they set in order again, and then they shine again. And this usually happens, or regularly happens, when they have a site visit from a big customer or some shareholders, or maybe their group management comes over from overseas or something. That's when we see these things happening. But it's really important we get to the standardized part or standardized step of the S to start ingraining the culture change. So with Standardize, we standardize the layouts where we can, so that people moving around the business from site to site, from area to area, are familiar with what they're seeing. It's not alien to them. They can quickly pick up on the work practices in the workplace and get to work rather than worrying about where is everything stored here. The next one, you can use color coding, and you can standardize color coding across the business to eliminate confusion. Now, by standardizing, anyone within the organization can move across work locations without relearning the systems that are involved. They'll need to relearn the work, but not necessarily relearn the systems. Brings us to the fifth S, which is sustain, and is, I guess, the holy grail of 5S systems. So it really is the culture change. And it's about habit formation and a disciplined workplace. People execute individual 5S responsibilities. There's performance monitoring and actions for people and teams. Seeing really is believing, and we check for the 5S environment. We have frequent planned 5S auditing. Now, what I try and do is, depending on the business, but generally a weekly 5S audit is conducted by the team leader or team members within the small team. And it's important with 5S, we We focus on small areas at a time. Now, over time, the whole business becomes ingrained and engaged in 5S, but initially you have what we call pilot areas where these practices are promoted and put into place, and through that we expand it across the business, but we maintain these small areas of excellence, small areas of 5S, so we can audit the areas very easily. And the teams themselves audit on a weekly basis. So once a week, I do it on a Friday, but once a week, the teams audit themselves. Then once a month, what we do is we have cross-functional auditing. So team A will audit team B and team B will audit team C, and eventually everyone gets audited by somebody else. That builds in some accountability to the auditing process, so you know you can't cheat because others are looking at what you're doing as well. And then what I do is once a quarter, I have a senior manager or an executive manager come into the areas and do audits as well. So what that is building, it's called a layered audit, and what that is doing is it's building accountability down the audit process, and also it's showing everyone in the business that these senior managers and executive managers have bought in and believe in and are striving themselves for 5S. Now, one thing that I regularly do in businesses is go straight to the CEO or the MD's office and put in place 5S there first of all. Do this for a few reasons. One is to make sure that their buy-in. It's really important we have the buy-in of the executive management group. So I'll go to the MD, start 5S in there to get their buy-in, and also it shows the rest of the business that the MD is doing this as well. So they're engaged in this process, they're buying into this process, and if he can do it or she can do it, then you know what, it's good enough for us as well. So you'll see here a simple storyboard, a 5S storyboard. You can see on the left-hand side of the storyboard, we have before and after photographs showing the work that's taken place and the improvements that are made. And to the right-hand side there, we have our KPIs and our 5S audit sheet. And also, it's important to have some mechanism of recording what the team needs to achieve a greater 5S. So if they have gaps in their current systems, in their current workplace housekeeping, they might need some extra tubs, some drawers, some tools, then we have a mechanism for them to record those. And that is in the middle sheet there as well, in the large sheet in the middle there as well. As you can see on the bottom there, we've got some graphs showing over time how the area, this area in particular, has progressed and maintained its 5S as well. So it's really important through Sustain that we do monitor and report, but it's more important that through sustaining, we have people looking at these reports. If people are just reporting for reporting's sake, it'll fall over. It's really important that executive management team, senior managers pay attention and take an interest into what their teams are doing. Should go without saying. So we call that Genchi Genbutsu and Walking the Gemba. So it brings us to the second foundation of Lean, which is Total Productive Maintenance, or TPM. It's different to what people have talked about in the past, which is preventative maintenance. It goes one step further. So as we all know, unplanned downtime is the enemy of any business. How can we possibly meet demand and expectations when we have unplanned downtime? And some businesses have an extraordinary amount of unplanned downtime, which puts enormous pressure on their staff and their resources and their customer base as well. So TPM is more than just preventative maintenance. It's an approach to maintenance to eliminate unplanned downtime through planning for maintenance in the production schedule. So you'll find that some lines will be closed on this day and other ones on that day. So that these maintenance schedules can be kept up with. We have comprehensive understanding of plant and equipment. So we're not surprised and not shocked when we find different breakdowns and different things going wrong. And we have breakdown and service history analysis through logs. And this is combined with a managed spare parts inventory. So we always have our category A inventory on hand for certain breakdowns, because no matter how well you plan and have TPM in place, you will from time to time have some unplanned maintenance. But part of TPM is limiting this, and when it does occur, limiting the amount of time or the impact that has through planning in advance. So some benefits of TPM. Obviously, you've got greatly reduced unplanned downtime. We're going to have improved safety due to machines operating at a higher level, and machines being at a higher level of repair. You'll have improved safety, improving quality. If your machines and your jigs and your tooling is all maintained effectively, your quality will improve. Reduce costs through plant replacement and maintenance, as you're having less unplanned downtime. Unplanned downtime not only impacts the schedule, but also increase costs, because if you have unplanned downtime, Murphy's Law is it'll happen when you least need it to happen. It'll happen at midnight. It'll happen on a Sunday shift. To call in service repair people and even your own techs on those days is going to cost you a lot more money. If you schedule your TPM through Monday to Friday at normal operating hours, you will have reduced costs through that. And also your plant and equipment will last longer because it's well maintained. So you'll have reduced costs over a long period of time for your capital expense as well. And it'll improve morale. When your team members see that you are paying an interest in their welfare and giving them the right tools at the right level of maintenance, their morale will increase. And through happy, high morale teams, you can achieve so much more. People will bend over backwards to help you if you help them. It's a simple rule of life, really. So it brings us to the next layer in the lean house, which is the floor level there. And the first one we're talking about here is standardized work. Now, standardized work is achieved through analysis of current state processes and the application of Kaizen to eliminate waste and define the optimum process. These standardized processes are measured against takt time. So takt time is the available working time divided by the customer demand. It's that simple. I've seen businesses totally miss the point with standardized work and takt time. So takt time is not your process time. The two are very, very different. So takt time is the beat of the customer, the heartbeat of the customer. How many do they want a day? They want 10 a day? Okay, it's going to be X amount of minutes per production time. So it's basically the available working time divided by customer demand. Now, standardized work will, no questions asked, improve safety. When people are working to a standardized process, they're not running around. They're not walking off to find parts. They're not talking to the person next to them. They're working to a plan. They're working to a schedule. They're working to standard hours. They're working to instructions. So it will improve safety. It will improve and give you consistent quality. It will increase efficiency and productivity. How much time do your team members spend and waste walking around the business looking for the right things or the right tools, the right equipment, the right inventory to do their job? You have to eliminate that through standardized work. It will improve DIFOT performance, undoubtedly. DIFOT is delivery in full on time. Through standardized work, you can plan more effectively. You can plan for capacity. You'll have the right number of resources. And that means labor, that means materials, that means tooling and equipment on hand to meet the DIFOT. It will improve training and auditing capabilities. If you've got clear work instructions, clear standardized work, when new staff join the company, they can easily read those instructions and follow them and do the work with much reduced training time. But it's probably a high level of training, but reduced training time. And you can audit it. You can have anyone walk onto the shop floor from any part of the business, pick up the work instruction, look at the work being performed, and see if they match. If they don't match, there's a problem there. Anyone can audit the process. Team leaders can audit each other's work, each other's areas. And for many businesses, most importantly, increase profits. Not all businesses are focused just on profits. Most businesses are focused on profits as a big outcome. But I put that last there because if you achieve the other tangible and intangible benefits, profits will come by themselves. They'll take care of themselves. As long as you've got a product, as long as you have a customer base, it'll take care of itself without doubt. So it brings us to the next lean element, once again in the floor level there, where we have Kaizen mindset, or just Kaizen as it's called. Now, Kaizen, this is the cultural change that really must occur in businesses. Without a cultural change occurring, you're really following a process, but it hasn't become ingrained. Now, the Kaizen mindset is all about ingraining this culture into your business, making this change, having your business have the aha moment, the epiphany, where you will do this every day. It's not an extra task. People aren't asked to come up with ideas for improvements. It's just the way we do things around here. When something is wrong, something goes wrong, we get together and we fix it. That's what a Kaizen mindset is all about. Now, to achieve this, it's important we encourage all staff to raise issues and problems. Many businesses hate the word problems. Personally, I don't think it's a bad word. I don't like businesses that hide behind the word and call everything an opportunity. Look, problems are opportunities. We all know that. But today, it's a problem. Straight after we identify the problem and define it, it becomes an opportunity to fix it. But at the moment when it goes wrong, it's a problem. Let's call it a problem. And it's important that we encourage all staff to raise issues and problems. And we have to have a mechanism in place that enables an efficient and effective capturing of these issues and problems with feedback loops, so we can then feed back to the raisers what's going to change, when it's going to change, who's going to change it. So it puts their mind at rest. If you ignore the problems or ignore people raising the problems, they'll just stop raising them and you'll be blind to it and you'll think everything's going along swimmingly until one day, you know what, it all stops because you haven't had the processes in place to capture those issues. Now, a problem defined is a problem that can be fixed. It really is that simple. If you don't know about them, you can't fix them. If you can't fix them, they're going to stay there for longer and probably get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's important that every team member can effectively stop the line. So what I mean by this is when they find a problem, they can take the necessary action to reduce the risk of the problem being sent downstream. Now, Kaizen mindset is basically a culture of continuous improvement. Now, continuous improvement is a much used word in many different businesses, but basically what it means is over time we're making many small improvements to improve our business and, more importantly, to improve our customers' experience. So now we have Jidoka, or built-in quality, and this is about building quality into the product and processes. This can greatly reduce rework. Look, historically, businesses have audited products, and I'll talk about products in this instance here. They've audited the products after assembly is finished, and what that does is they find issues at the end of the production line, and that creates rework within the business. It also creates delays for the customer. And you know what? When you rework a product at the end of the line, it's never really the same as it was first time. Again, so by building in quality, we're reducing the requirements for auditing at the end of the line. So we're just moving the labor around of the auditing, and it also reduces the rework, and it will absolutely increase efficiency, and it will absolutely result in improved quality without doubt. So what are some ways we can embed Jidoka? The most common one is poka-yoke. Now the translation of that is foolproofing. Quite often these days we talk about it as error-proofing because of the connotation of the word fool, but it basically means that we stop people from being able to do it wrong. So you'll see this where you have in assembly of parts, you might have a key and a hole that fit together. You have tabs. You have parts that are designed left and right to be exactly the same, so you can't get it wrong. Also have ways where you have parts that just cannot fit. In the office environment, It's a little bit more difficult, but we have checklists and so forth that go in there. But you also have color coding of documents so that people know certain colors mean certain tasks and activities. So a color red might be aligned with the planning part of the business. The color yellow might be aligned with the finance part of the business, and so on and so forth. It's good where you have jigs and mechanical processes in use. Another way of embedding Jidoka is through in-process inspections. So before a service or a product moves on to the next step in the process, it's inspected and it's reviewed. So we're not passing defects downstream to our internal customers and then eventually to external customers. Also, as with Kaizen mindset, it's important with Jidoka that we empower the teams, we empower the employees so that when they find a problem, they can A, stop it going any further, or B, fix it in a way that it can be used. But it's important that they have that they're empowered to make these decisions and to run with them. Now that takes a lot of trust from the management group of the business, and you'll only get that through training your employees, through trusting them today, and then over time they'll make better decisions. Initially, going through this process, you're going to have some instances where it goes wrong and it costs you some time or it costs you some money. But trust me, over time, you'll get paid back in bundles more than it will cost you. So the next one here is just in time. Now, just in time is a method of inventory management where the goal is to deliver only the required inventory at the required time to the work area. Just in time can reduce inventory requirements. It can reduce scrap costs. It can improve safety, quality, and it will improve efficiency as well. So it will reduce inventory requirements as you're only buying what you need to do the job at this moment. This moment could be today, it could be this hour, it could be this minute, it could be this week, depending on your business. Every business is different. So it's not easy, it's not possible to make a blanket rule, but every business is different. But it will reduce those inventory requirements. It will reduce rework and scrap costs. Once again, if you have excessive inventory and things change or design changes, you have to rework that or scrap that. So the most well-known and common method of just-in-time is Kanban. Kanban is a trigger system used to manage and replenish, to manage the replenishment cycle. So the best system is a very simple system. I love simple systems. The more simple the system in place, the less likely it is to go wrong. So often a Kanban board with Kanban cards is used to visually manage the system. What I don't like hearing is that we can't use Kanban in our business because we're too big or we're too small, or we've got too many parts, or we have too great a volume of variable products. None of that is true. It can be effective, and it is effective in every environment, every and any environment. So I'll talk now about some of my past success stories. The approach I've listed above, I've used the same approach in many businesses, and some of the successes I've seen firsthand are a 400% improvement in robotic welding cell, 600% improvement in producing rates notices in the local government, 200% reduction in changeover time in a casting facility, a $5 million bottom line impact in a food manufacturing facility in 9 months, and improvements in DIFOT from 28% to a consistent 98% within 10 months in a construction business. So what's your story going to be? I'd like to talk now about what you can do in the next steps. So this has been a brief outline of Lean and how it can help your business. We have starting next week a 12-week intensive Lean training course, and in that 12 weeks, you'll receive video files, audio files, and text files on each of these elements of lean, plus some more. It's an in-depth, intensive training course. At the end of this training course, you'll be able to take these elements of lean and take this lean journey yourself, take your business to the next step, and improve your efficiency, your productivity, your safety, your quality, improve your customer satisfaction and your customer experience, and increase your profits. Now, for a short time only, for the next 2 weeks, this is going to be on sale for $49. Normally, this retails for $97. For the next 2 weeks, this is on special as an introductory offer for $49. $49. And you can get that by going to a website, as you can see there, www.mlbc.com.au, and it's / lean program, online lean course. So it's very easy to get hold of. For other further information, if you're not interested in going on that course there, you can visit Amazon.com and search for one of our books. So there's a series of 6 books in your 60-minute lean business series, as well as 7 steps to a lean business. The 7 steps to a lean business was my first book, and this book is 125 pages long and outlines a lean journey in a company from start to finish, from 5S all the way through, how we achieved a lean outcome. The Your 60-Minute Lean Business series, it's a series of 6 books. Each book can be read in an hour. So we've got 5S, we've got TPM, we've got Kaizen Mindset, Standardize Work, Jidoka and Quality, and Just in Time. So each book can be read in about an hour, and they're available on Kindle and in paperback, as well as we have Volume 1, The Foundations, we have The Pillars, Volume 2, and we have the entire collection in a 300 and something page edition as well. So they're available from Amazon. And then finally, your feedback is important to us. So please, if you have any feedback, send it to feedback@leanlearnings.com. You can follow us or follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and online through the website. You can visit the website at www.mlbc.com.au. Our Twitter is @leanlearnings and Facebook is My Lean Business Coach. Thank you for watching. I've enjoyed being here with you and look forward to seeing you on your lean journey. Thank you.